Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our 11th live interview of the SSI Live Cosmic Conversations interview series. My name is Sophia, and I'm one of the science communication interns here at Cal Academy. In this series, we'll be interviewing a different member of our SSI intern cohort every episode. SSI stands for Summer Systematic Institute, a research experience for undergrads, or REU, funded by the National Science Foundation. All of the interns that Nia and I will be interviewing work directly with curators or researchers on research projects from plants to people to arachnids. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments, and we will get to them in the middle of the episode. We're having some technical difficulties, so we're hoping that everything is fine. So today I'm interviewing Julia. She's visiting us from Arachnology planet. Would you like to introduce yourself before we begin?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Julia. I use she, her pronouns. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, but I go to school in Minnesota to a college called McAllister, where I study biology. And this summer, I'm working with Dr. Lauren Esposito on arachnology.
Very cool. Very cool. So we'll jump right into the first question, which is basically, what is arachnology? Can you tell us a little bit more about the organisms that you're studying this summer?
Yeah, so arachnology is just the study of arachnids, which includes scorpions, spiders, mites, like all the little like creatures like that.
Cool.
And my project this summer is studying spiders, a group of like little tiny brown spiders that all kind of look the same, but they're pretty cool anyway.
Cool. So yeah, can you tell us, you mentioned these little brown spiders. Can you tell us a little more about what you're studying about them this summer?
Yeah, so I'm studying new species from Madagascar.
Very cool.
That have been in our collections for like a long time, but like no one has ever like documented.
Okay.
And basically I'm trying to figure out like which species are most related to each other, like speciate them, and like figure out like how many times they crossed over from mainland Africa to Madagascar, or like if it was only once.
How do they move between them?
I mean,
that's like a long distance to swim for a spider.
I mean, they don't swim, but I don't like, they have different methods. They can either like raft over on like a piece of driftwood, or some spiders have like they like can shoot webs out their butt and then like parachute across. Or
that's really cool.
Yeah, there are different methods.
Wow. But they don't know exactly like which ones these spiders do.
No.
Dang. Okay, very cool. So you mentioned that these spiders have been in the collections for a really long time. Do you know when they were collected, or is it kind of like throughout time?
I think they're only around like 20 years old.
I mean, that seems
not that long.
Okay, cool. So they were collected 20 years ago, but now they're being used for research.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So, and then you mentioned also like looking for new species or how they're related. How does that work?
So, a grad student in my lab already kind of like looked at their morphology, like what they look like, and put them into like categorizations based on that called morphospecies.
Okay.
And my job is to like take the DNA and sequence it, and then using that create a tree to like kind of test his hypothesis about like what's related, and like see like if his hypotheses are right, like are those two actually in like the same like group.
Oh, cool. Have you found anything so far in your research, or are you still working toward answering that hypothesis?
I'm still working toward it. I currently have one gene, CO1, sequenced, and the tree's like pretty much backing up most of his hypotheses. There are some like little questionable parts.
Very cool. Do you agree with his hypothesis, or do you think that do you think the results are going to show his hypothesis, or do you think maybe like a mixture?
I think for the most part, yeah, he did a pretty good job.
And what was the basis of that hypothesis, like before the DNA work? Is that like based on like past work people have done, or like his personal experience?
Yeah, so a lot of like spider morphology is determined by the males because they have these little antenna type things called palps, which are their sexual organs.
Okay, cool.
And they're very distinctive. So that's usually how like species are distinguished in spiders. Females are harder. You usually have to like match them with a male using genetic data.
Interesting. So the males are like easier to identify for differences in species.
A lot easier.
Okay, interesting. And you mentioned that the little brown spiders all look really similar, so it's probably hard to differentiate.
Yeah, and they're
Okay.
also like super tiny. Like some are like only 1 millimeter.
Oh my gosh.
So-
What do you use a microscope to look at them, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Wow. I guess that's really cool. What has been the most, out of all those things, kind of the most surprising or like eye-opening thing you found during this internship so far, or like during your research?
I feel like I've just learned so many like spider fun facts.
What's your
Like,
best spider fun fact?
Let me think. Honestly, the butt parachuting thing's
That's pretty
kind
cool.
of sick.
Yeah, I mean, that's a crazy skill to be able to go all the way to Madagascar.
Yeah. Also, just like they have so many different like there are like different types of webs that they can make. So like, and they have different organs inside of them for each type of web. And
Really?
Like I don't really know how it works, but like I wish I knew because like there are like 8 things for each different type of web they can shoot out.
Interesting. So can one species of spider have multiple types of web then?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. But then I'm sure there's differences among different species
because
as well.
have you ever seen like a spider like hanging from the ceiling?
Mhm.
Like that's one type of web, and then the web that you see like that they live in,
Mhm.
that's another.
Oh, it's
type
different?
Of web. Yeah.
Oh, and it
It's
comes
like-
out of a different organ.
Yeah, it's like a different
That's so
type
cool.
of silk. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a really good fun fact. So way before this internship, what do you feel like inspired you to apply for it, and what inspired you to be interested in science in general?
I've always kind of been interested in science, like maybe because my parents are geologists, so I was like always like outside, like in the woods, like doing some like dirty digging. But when I like got to high school and took science classes, I actually like hated them so much. Like
So did I.
They did not go well. So then in college, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I always like science, but I didn't like science in school. So I went in undeclared.
Okay.
And then my freshman year, I took a class called Biodiversity and Evolution. And I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
Like, I learned so many like fun facts about animals and plants and like funguses and bacteria and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is like the type of stuff I wanted to be learning in high school. And so then I was like, okay, I'm a biology major now. And then when I was applying like here specifically, I thought it was really interesting. It's like a museum. Like most RUs aren't held in museums. Like, so it's a really unique experience.
Yeah. What do you feel like? So I kind of had the same experience in high school. Like, really did not vibe with the science classes. What do you feel like was the most discouraging thing that kind of turned you away from it?
Well, I feel like maybe one part was all of my science teachers were male. And I feel like I couldn't really relate to them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't remember. But my physics teacher especially was like, he had a little bit of a problem, but that's okay. So I couldn't relate to that. And then also just like the whole point of it was to like study for an AP exam at the end of the summer. And I was like, I don't want to learn this so that I can like get a 5 on like a test. Like I want to learn more about like biology. Yeah,
like you're doing this internship to learn more about spiders, not to pass an exam. Yeah, definitely a big difference there. So looking forward, like past this internship, what do you feel like are your like next career goals or kind of next steps in your career that you're looking at?
I'm honestly not like super sure. Like I'd love to like pursue a PhD or a master's degree. But like mostly I just want to like continue doing research and like learning more. I don't know like what organism either. Spiders are pretty cool. I'd love to keep studying them, but like I'd also love to do like anything else.
Yeah, actually, because I was going to ask, like, did you specifically, were you specifically looking at studying spiders this summer, or was it just kind of what fell into place?
It was my first choice. Like,
Okay.
I did. Yeah, I chose spiders. Because like last summer I had like studied mammals.
Okay.
So it was like very different, but I've always like had a connection with spiders. Like I would name all the spiders in my house. Like yeah, we had a lot of spider infestations. So like, I had to be friends with them.
I feel like it's a good thing too to just, like you said, like you worked with mammals before. Like I feel like that's a pretty wide, range of like expertise.
Yeah. Try something new.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you. So that's the end of our core questions. Now it's time to see what questions we have in the chat.
We have a lot of questions for you, Julia.
Yay.
So first, we'll start off pretty lighthearted. Mateo asks, favorite Charlie XX song?
The one that has my name in it.
It's either 365 or 360. I forget which one. The line "I'm so Julia."
I think it should have been called "I'm So Julia."
Okay, and then Chantel asks, what kind of music would a diving bell spider listen to?
Oh.
Okay, so diving bell spiders are the only like almost fully aquatic spiders.
Okay.
So I feel like they'd be listening to some like pretty chill music.
Yeah, like some flowy
oceans,
tunes.
Like, or I guess they're freshwater, but water gives like
Yeah.
flowy. So maybe like some like romantic period classical music.
And then we have, what has been your biggest challenge during this internship working in labs and collections?
Biggest challenge. I feel like balancing like lab work with like computer work with all the other things we do, like collections tours and dissecting sea otters.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, and like going into the field and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of dissecting sea otters,
No.
Leo asks, can you talk about your recent experience with sea otters?
Oh no.
When I first like walked into the room and saw like a head sitting on the table and like smelled whatever that
they didn't smell
was,
great.
I was like, oh my god, what am I getting myself into right now?
Mhm.
But like it was actually really fun. Well, it smelled bad the whole time. Like it never went away. But
Kind of got a little bit used to it.
I kind of enjoyed like cutting into the muscle and like picking stuff off. I don't know what that says about me, but
I mean, definitely, I feel like, I mean, not that I loved it that much either, but like, you know, knowing that it's like for a reason, like you're doing it to contribute to the research was kind of fun, I feel like.
I feel like knowing that my name's gonna be
Yeah.
like in the California Academy of Sciences like database
Forever. Yeah.
is like pretty awesome.
Okay. Douglas asks, would you let spiders crawl over your hands?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I have before. Like, didn't everyone do that as a kid? Like, pick up
No,
a
you're
spider.
unique in that way. But I don't mind them either, but I feel like a lot of people are scared of them.
Yeah, I think we should get over that stigma. They're really adorable when you think about it, and most of them won't hurt you.
We need like it's Shark Week right now. We need like Spider Week.
Yeah, we need Spider Week
to raise awareness.
Oh yeah.
Panthers fans ask, how do you sequence DNA?
That's a good question.
So I don't actually sequence DNA. Like we send it off to like a sequencing lab elsewhere, and they like send the sequence results back to us. But to prepare it, we first have to do PCR. So you like make a little mix, and then you put your DNA in it, and it like strips everything, like all the other things that were in it, like protein and like whatever was on the spider leg that someone extracted for me.
Yeah.
And then you put it in a thermocycler, and then it like heats things up, and it like takes all that stuff off. And then after that, you run it through a gel, which doesn't actually do anything. It just like lets you know if the DNA, like the PCR worked and like got the DNA out.
Okay, to check your work.
Yeah, it's checking your work. Yeah. And then you prepare it for like sending it to the sequencing lab by like just adding some like amplifiers to it.
Cool. Good answer.
Mateo asks, what's the difference between those two things that I can't pronounce? Megalomorph and Arachnology spiders?
Okay. So megalomorph, I guess like the one like tarantulas are megalomorph. And the main difference in my opinion is that they have like these things called chelicerae, which are like kind of like teeth. They're not teeth, but like that's where they are. They're in the mouth. And they go up and down, and Arachnology spiders go in and out.
Interesting. So they eat different foods because of that, or not really?
I'm not sure. I think they all pretty much just eat other invertebrates for the most part, so not really.
Chris asks, this is a funny one. You have to give a serious answer.
Okay.
How do you feel about Ed Myers?
What?
I love Ed Myers. Who doesn't? Like, He's very helpful in getting my like computer stuff to work because I'm not the most like technologically advanced person in the world, so I go to him with a lot of questions.
Awesome. Chantel asks, do you have a favorite spider from Ohio?
From Ohio? I don't actually know that many spiders in Ohio. I don't actually know what the spiders in my house are. Like, I just called them house spiders.
They probably are house spiders.
I think they're house spiders. But I know that like brown recluses live in Ohio, which are like pretty scary. Like they'll mess with your skin. Yeah.
Jaquez asks, what should people do when they see spiders crawling in their room?
What?
I think you should just let them live there. Like have a little roomie, you know? Like
Spider friend.
They're not gonna do anything to you. You're scarier to it than they are to you.
Mr. Office asks, what's the best movie related to spiders?
Movie related to spiders?
I can't think of any other than Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man. That's a good one.
But are there any other ones?
Spider-Man's pretty good. Maybe like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
This one is also very interesting. Do spiders really have 8 legs?
They do. Like, I think all of them.
Are people saying they don't?
I don't know. They all have 8 legs. And then they have 2 palps at the front, which some people might mistake as legs, but they're not.
Jaquez asks, if you were to teach a class, what would you teach and what would make your class unique?
That's an interesting question.
That's a good question.
Like, I probably wouldn't teach a class about spiders or anything. I don't think I know enough. Maybe like a handwriting class. I like to think I have good handwriting. And like some people really need help with that.
Some people do really need help.
Yeah.
And then he asks, would you like to travel for research? And if so, where?
I would love to travel for research. Like, that's just so much fun. I mean, like, it's also important to like stay in your own community and do research there and like where you have like a connection to it. But I mean, traveling to Madagascar would be pretty sick.
That'd be really cool.
Like, I've never been to Africa at all, and I feel like that would be really awesome.
That'd be really cool.
Okay. Last 2 questions. Panthers Fans 88 asks, what's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal? Like, well, probably it's actually just a cat. Like, I love cats so much. I have 3 of them. Like, they're just so adorable. And that's,
good
like
answer.
A house cat. Your common American short hair.
That's true. I've never seen you react to a spider the way that you do to cat videos.
Spiders are cute too.
And Chantel asks, how can I overcome my fear of spiders?
I think you just need to hold one. And
Exposure therapy.
It's like not gonna do anything to you. Once you realize that, you're gonna be fine. And like hold like a truly non-dangerous one first. Like
work your way up.
Don't hold like a black widow. Like hold a house spider.
Yeah.
Mateo and Curtis threw in some quick last-minute questions about favorite movies. So we're gonna do that really quickly and then move on. Do you prefer Into or Across the Spider-Verse?
I have not seen Across the Spider-Verse, and I'm not gonna lie, I've only seen half of Into the Spider-Verse. So I'll have to say that one.
Okay, and then Curtis, what's your favorite Madagascar movie?
Like 1, 2, or 3, like the Madagascar movies.
Yeah.
I love
the one where they escape from the zoo.
Oh, I would say I love Escape to Africa. The one where they fly the plane. That
I
one's
remember.
fun.
Yeah, that one's good. I don't know. We always watched the first one in my Spanish classes. I couldn't tell you why.
That's so random.
But that one, whatever that one was.
Okay. Good.
Nice. Cool. So that's the end of our comments. Thank you, everybody. We're going to move on to our final comment round. And our comment round today is a spider quiz for Julia that I may need Nia to read because I don't have my glasses.
Okay.
So let's see. Spider question. We're gonna see how well Julie knows spiders, basically. We have 4 true/false questions ahead of us. So you have a 50% chance of being right.
Yeah, which is more embarrassing if I get it wrong.
All right, question number 1. I can't read that.
Male jumping spiders attract mates by jumping the highest. True or false?
I feel like that would be true.
Let's see. False.
No.
They dance to attract mates.
Okay.
Yeah, the jumping spiders dance to attract them. I knew that one would get you.
Yeah.
I wish I could read them. This is too bad. All right, next question. Question number 2.
True or false? A black widow's venom is stronger than a rattlesnake's.
That one feels true.
Let's
I think I might just say true for
Yeah.
all of them.
Good job.
Yay.
The last one was false.
I
What?
might say true.
Oh, you might say
for
true for all of them. Okay. Question number 3.
After a big meal, tarantulas may not eat for 6 months.
That also sounds true.
Let's
Mm.
see. False.
No.
They may not eat
Nope.
for up to a month.
6 months would be crazy.
I don't know. There are some like
That's true.
things that don't eat for a really long time. But I guess spiders don't live that long. They live like for a year.
That's true. So
I
6,
should've
that'd be
thought
2
about
meals
that.
per life.
Actually, tarantulas live longer though.
Really?
Yeah.
How long do they live for?
I don't know, like
A couple
4
years.
years. Yeah.
It's pretty good. All right. Last but not least, question number 4.
A spider's movement is not controlled by muscles, but by fluid pumping into their legs.
That is true.
Good job. Yay!
I knew the answer.
Nice. Okay, you did a really good job. Those were some hard questions. So, thank you for participating in my spider quiz.
Yeah, it was hard.
And that wraps up today's Cosmic Conversation. Thank you, Julia, for joining us. And before we end today, we'd like to encourage everyone to go follow us on social media at CalAcademy_SSI. There you can learn more about science and natural history museums along with the interns this summer. Tune in tomorrow where we will be interviewing Matthew at the exact same time. Thank you for watching.